this morning we had the PCE report, which is showing that inflation is still rising. Now, at the time of this recording, the NASDAQ QQQs and the S&P 500 is currently green, with the NASDAQ up 0.15% and the S&P 500 up 0.37%. So despite the bounce that we're currently seeing, if we go ahead and take a look at market structure, with the NASDAQ currently below 597, this is bearish. And adding to that, I can already see a bear flag is forming, also indicating more downside. That said, if the NASDAQ QQQs fail to get back above 599, then I want you guys to look for a 2% pullback down to 582. With the S&P 500 below 661, this is also bearish when it comes down to market structure. So if the buyers cannot push the price back above 663, then I want you guys to look for a pullback to 650. Now, 4 days ago, I told you guys that if Nvidia could not get above 183, then look for a pullback to 180. And if 180 failed to hold as support, then look for a further pullback down to 175. Take a listen. So currently Nvidia is running into resistance at 183. If the stock cannot get above this level, then I want you guys to look for a 2% pullback down to 180. And if 180 failed to hold as support, then look for a pullback to 175. And looking at the current chart, you guys can see that my analysis on Nvidia was 100% accurate. Now let's go ahead and take a look at BBAI. So about a month ago, I told you guys that based on this bull flag right here, that we should see a run to 729, which was my price target. Take a listen. Now to the upside, if BBAI can stay above current support at 524, then I want you guys to look for a 7% continuation to 594. And if the stock can get above 594, then look for a run to 660. And from current price, we're looking at a return of 20%. Overall, to the upside, a measurement of this bull flag should take the stock up to my price target at 729. Now, Tom Lee said that there will be an AI shakeout, but valuations are still reasonable. Take a listen.
Let's welcome in FundStrat's Tom Lee, a CNBC contributor. It's good to have you back. I know you love this trade, but what do you make of what Mr. Griffin had to say?
Well, I agree with him. You know, we're in a period where there is a super cycle and exponential growth opportunities within AI, but it doesn't mean every company that has elevated valuation today deserves to actually have the capital, and that company may not even reinvest that capital properly to be a survivor. So I agree there is going to eventually be a shakeout, but I think valuations, strangely enough, are actually pretty reasonable today compared to 1998, because 1998 was that liftoff point before that final 18-month surge. And I'd say the best benchmark is Nvidia trades at 26 times forward earnings. Cisco at that same exact moment was at 60 times, and Cisco's PE peaked at 210 times forward earnings. So Nvidia to me is still a bargain at 26 times. It's cheaper than Costco and Walmart, which are close to 50 times forward earnings.
Sure, but all valuation isn't created equal. And I'm not especially clear as to whether Mr. Griffin looks at the valuations of an Nvidia, for example, and says, well, that looks a little out of hand. It reminds me of late 90s activity before the dot-com bust happened, parabolic. And they're related to AI. And that's where he says, whoa. We're placing way too many bets on what might happen in the future. We think we know what's going to happen in the future as it relates to NVIDIA and some of the other hyperscalers, but it's a whole host of other names that have literally ripped over the last 3 months, at least, that might bring investors a little bit of pause.
I think that's correct, Scott.
Now, going into the rest of the video, I have some important levels for you guys to watch on ticker symbol AAPL, Apple, Advanced Micro Devices, ticker symbol AMD, and ticker symbol BBAI. Let's go ahead and begin with Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. So currently, Apple is running into resistance at 257. If the stock cannot get above this level, then look for a 2% continuation down to 249. And if 249 failed to hold as support, then we're looking at a pullback to 243. If 243 breaks, then we're looking at a pullback to 233. And from current price, we're looking at a decline of 8%. Now go ahead and take a look at the upside. So if Apple can get above 257, then I want you guys to look for a 2% run to 260. And if buyers can push the stock above 260, then look for a run to 267. Let's now take a look at AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. So current support for AMD is going to be at 158. If the stock cannot stay above this level, then I want you guys to look for a 5% pullback to 151. And if 151 failed to hold as support, then look for a further pullback down to 146. If 146 breaks, then we're looking at a pullback to 139. And from current price, we're looking at a decline of 12%. Now to the upside, if AMD can stay above 158 and break this trend line, then I want you guys to look for a 8% run to 172. And if the stock can get above 172, then look for a run to 184. Now, if buyers can push a stock above 184 and use this level as support, then look for a run to my price target at $200 per share. And from current price, we're looking at a return of over 25%. The next stock is BBAI. So current support for BBAI is going to be at 660. If the stock cannot stay above this level, then I want you guys to look for a 9% pullback to 610. And if that level breaks, then we're looking at a pullback to 592. Now, if 592 failed to hold as support, then we're looking at a further pullback down to 565. And from current price, we're looking at a decline of 16%. To the upside, if BBAI can stay above current support, then I want you guys to look for a 8% run to 729. If the stock can get above that level, then look for a run to 756. And if the buyers can push the stock above 756, then look for a run to 794. And from current price, we're looking at a return of over 18%. All right, guys, if you want more accurate price predictions, then consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if you like today's video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.